Hey everyone, Chris Bennett, blockchain beard guy, coming back for another episode. We're here in the Blockmobile on a beautiful Colorado morning, taking a drive into Denver. So I thought I'd use the time to talk a little bit about blockchain, but first I want to touch on something that has nothing to do with blockchain, just kind of an amazing thing. If you guys didn't get a chance to see the Falcon Heavy launch, SpaceX's new rocket, humanity's new most powerful rocket, absolutely incredible thing. Make sure you go back, watch the video on YouTube. Humankind is finally back into space 2.0. So it's an exciting time to be alive, time where we're seeing every day being defined by impossible things happening. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. So we're going to do another two-part series. Today I want to talk to you guys about proof of work specifically, and more generally group consensus. And the reason I want to talk about that is I want to make sure you guys understand proof of work, because there's a big switch happening in the Ethereum space, and a lot of other blockchain platforms are contemplating this switch, and that's the switch from proof of work to proof of stake. And in the next video I want to talk to you guys about proof of stake and how that differs from proof of work and what some of the ramifications might be. But to understand that, we have to understand proof of work. And that means understanding group consensus. And group consensus is a real simple thing. All that means is if I walk into a room full of strangers and I'm supposed to pick up a message, how do I know that none of those strangers, people I've never met before and have no reason to trust, how do I know they haven't tampered with the message? Group consensus is just a way for me to be able to trust that group or trust the message that the group gives me without really having to be able to trust anyone in the group. And that's really the heart of blockchain. And group consensus happens in 6 simple steps. And I want to walk you guys through each of the steps. And hopefully it makes sense. If not, ask some more questions and we can cover this or anything that doesn't make sense in more detail in another video. But essentially, pretend we're all sitting in a big stadium and we all have a sheet of notebook paper, and every once in a while a few people walk up onto the stage and they stand up in front of the stadium and they announce a transaction. So Lindsay and John stand up on the stage and they announce that Lindsay's going to buy John's 1992 Toyota Camry for $1,000. And then Peter and Alexander get up on the stage, and Alexander announces he's paying Peter $20 for helping him fix his garage door this weekend. And we're all sitting in this stadium watching this, and every time one of these transactions is announced, we write it down on a sheet of notebook paper. And we have special notebook paper for this, and it's got 25 lines. Okay, so that's the very first step, is we write down all the announcements. Then we get to step number 2, and that happens when we fill up a page. So every 25 transactions, every 25 times someone gets up there and announces their transaction, we're all going to have a full page. And in the blockchain world, we call that a block. And what we want to do now that we have a full page is we want to add it to the chain. One of the things we'll talk about in another video is immutability, and the idea that once something gets added to the chain, it can never change. And we'll talk about what actually makes that true. But for now, just understand that once we put something on the chain, that means we can trust that data forever. So we have a full page of transactions or announcements, and we want to go ahead and add them onto the chain. So we're going to have a contest. And that contest involves everyone, all of us sitting there in the stadium. And the contest is guess the right number. Pick a number between 1 and a million, and whoever's right wins a prize. So we all start shouting out guesses. 12, 18, 348, until someone gets it right. And eventually, someone's going to get it right. So when they get it right, step 3 is guessing the answer. We get to step 4, which is all of us have to validate the answer. And all that means is we just make sure that the answer that was guessed is actually the right answer. And the mechanics behind this are a little bit more involved and a bit more technical. There's a mathematical way that we could all make sure that the answer that was shouted out is the right answer. But once we know that person has the right answer, we get to step 5. And step 5 is very important. Step 5 is where we look at whoever got the right answer, we look at their page, their 25 transactions, and we vote yes or no individually. Do those 25 transactions exactly match what I have on my page? If 51% or more of the people in the stadium agree that the person who guessed the right number has the right transactions on their page, they get a reward. And this reward is called mining. The idea behind proof of work is that guessing, when a computer does it, is expensive. It burns electricity. Electricity costs money. So you invest a lot of cost into guessing the answer, and you don't get any reward unless you're being honest, unless your version of the truth, your 25 lines on that page, match what's on everybody else's page. So there's an incentive not to cheat, because if you do, you're just going to burn money and never ever get it back. So that's what we call proof of work consensus. That's how blockchains run now. That's how Bitcoin runs. That's how most of the Ethereum network runs. That's how many of the other blockchain platforms run. It's been a great, reliable, secure system, but there's a lot of work involved, and it doesn't scale up well. And that's leading to some bottlenecks, and that's what we're going to talk about next time when we talk about proof of work versus a newer idea, proof of stake. So guys, I hope you're enjoying this video. Ask any questions, reach out to me about anything. Love helping the community, love helping you guys learn more about blockchain. Blockchain Beard Guy's always here for you. Have a good one, guys.